Welcome to FCC Supporter Square, the show for fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Matt Warman, Boston Brazel, and Mark Suffin.
It was the worst of times. It was the best of times. That is the week that was on Hell is Real slash Plastic. Miami week. Uh, uh, that Saturday game, I was there for a little while. It was a very strange. The whole thing was a little bit strange. We scored 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. We're rolling. The place is absolutely rocking, and then it settles down a little bit, and then they get a goal. I'm just like, if we could just get into halftime with a 2-0 lead, that's great. Even 2-1, that's great. But we give up two quick goals, and then give up two more quick goals. We could talk about what that is. But what were your thoughts of the Hell is Real match?
Was it all right? Let's just ignore the game for a second. Was the most lit 10 minutes, maybe? From start to like from fire shooting out of the pregame setup to tifo to goal in the first minute, goal in the first 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. Probably the most lit 10 minutes I've ever experienced, and I don't even know if I had anything left after those 10 minutes. Like I was like. And I don't think FC Cincinnati had anything left either. We hyped them up. We used all the energy in the whole city of Cincinnati in 10 minutes. We used it all up.
It was. I knew it was going to be a playoff. It's always a playoff atmosphere. But when you've got two top teams at the top of their game going at it, and then your team at home scores twice, how many times in the history of this team do we get a 2-goal lead in the first half and end up losing the damn thing?
And half
it's
the time
annoying.
it's against Columbus. It's always against Columbus. I don't know why. It's just fate's weird how it works out sometimes. The a little quiz for you. Do you know who the biggest benefactor of the last week in the Eastern Conference is?
Nashville?
This one caught me off guard because I thought Nashville too, because Nashville beat Columbus on the day we beat Miami, and it's Philly. Philly just so 2 through 5 beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, and then Philly, who used to be in first place, before we dethroned them, literally just laughed at us all as they went whoop, wild.
So, for fans out there, particularly, it doesn't matter if you're listening or watching. The only thing worse than talking about or thinking about a Hell is Real loss and dealing with that is the fact that I have a podcast and I actually have to go and relive a lot of it. So I don't know how much of a mood I am, and I don't think, as you heard from Boston, the first 10 minutes was off the chain. It was off the chain. People were losing their minds. We were all losing our minds. It was an amazing thing. Unfortunately, my wife, something was not wrong. She ate something not right, and we had to leave at halftime. That's how things were. And it wasn't, she didn't come pregame. She came from work. So I know it wasn't like being overserved or anything. It was just one of those things that's going around, or I don't
No,
know.
you go
But
to
she's
enough
better.
FCC
She's okay.
games.
But it was
Yeah.
like that really, between the 2 goals and having to deal with a health emergency of sorts. I kind of lost interest in that. I did watch the second half at home, and it's always nice to listen to the radio when you have a home game, because the announcers are just so obnoxious, I think. That being said, it looked like we were on top of the world, and then we're not. And Robinson blamed himself, and Engel did not blame Robinson. I tell you what, Engel almost gave up like 3 goals. He was thinking he was a wing back when he was a center back, and he was making some passes back there and turning the ball over in dangerous spots, but they didn't punish us for it. And quite frankly, we had a chance to bury this in the first 15 minutes. We had 2 or 3 chances where it just didn't go our way. We just didn't get it right. So there's that.
Yeah.
It came out, so we're gonna leave Hell is Real alone. I think it's the best thing to do. My thoughts last week were if we had won this, it would be a psychological win. That would tell Columbus that they can't come down here and win. Yeah, you did it before, but you're not doing it this year. And in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm a genius. And then after that, I'm an idiot. So now it's like, now the way that it played out, Columbus has the psychological edge. It's like they don't care if they're one or even two or maybe even 3 goals down. They're like, we're still in it. You guys are going to cop it up. So we need to figure that out. But the one thing I want to talk about before moving on to niceties and other things is uh, matchups, right? In every sport, there are matchups. Is this Noonan against Nancy? Because that whenever you lose, particularly in that fashion, you hear, well, Noonan got out coached. Well, he's not out there playing the game. I don't necessarily think it was bad tactics. Was it the bad tactics that we got the first 2 goals? No. So I don't necessarily say Noonan got out coached, but it is a matchup issue and how Columbus plays versus how we defend and vice versa, I think is a big part of that. What are your thoughts on, was Noonan out coached or is it a matchup issue?
I mean, if he was, it was definitely a change. I saw some good takes out there. I think the one that really stuck with me, if any listeners want to go check it out, Travis Grimes had a Twitter thread of how Noonan really caught Nancy off guard at the start of the game and was pulling. I can't remember if it was Miles or Robinson forward in a really nice tactical shift, and it was just killing Columbus. And then Nancy adapted and used it against FC Cincinnati and started pulling them out on purpose. So that's pretty cool. I wish he'd have put like screenshots with it because that would have been like something I didn't notice. And I haven't gone back and like fully analyzed that particular thing. But if so, it would match from what we've heard just about Nancy being a really good on the fly coach. But at the end of the day, I think you're right. It's 11 on 11, and these players have to um, deal with the matchups that currently exist. And we've talked about it on this show. FC Cincinnati struggles to match up against certain teams. We know Charlotte's one of those. We know the Columbus is one of those. This isn't a new thing we discovered this week. We watched the last Crew game, and we held on for dear life and managed to just hold on in that one. FCC has figured out how to score early on Columbus, but it's holding it that becomes the difficult thing. I kind of, I'm in a way, if there's any silver lining to take out here, Matt, I think it's that we got our playoff atmosphere type of game early. And so, unless we do something stupid or they do something stupid, we're going to end up in playing each other again at some point in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So, the more lessons we can get early, I guess, the better we are off because we have to figure out a way to play this team and match up with them and hold our own. And so if it takes learning 2 lessons in the season, okay, I'll feel a lot better if we can play Charlotte better the next time we play them, or play teams that are as fast as the Crew, have as good as midfield as the Crew. I mean, I'll tell you what, I think the Crew back line was way better than the Miami back line.
Well, yes, talk about old and slow. That's old and slow, and we'll get to that. One thing that I want to say before I go on, I heard that Denke did not play on Wednesday. Um, the rumor that I heard is that it's somewhat significant and that he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I haven't heard anything official on that. I don't know if you've heard anything on that. But if that is the case, well, Kai Kamara shows that he doesn't care if he can play 2 games a week at 40. The 40-year-old beat the 38-year-old, and we'll get to that. But if Denke is out for an extended period of time, how does that hurt our playoff run?
I mean, we're in the playoffs right now. I mean, I think we could stumble the rest of the season and end up in the playoffs. So it won't hurt us getting there. If you ask me if it hurts our supporter shield run, yeah, I think so. But we'll get him back before the end of the season, and he'll probably even get some games to get back up to speed. What I don't know, I didn't even look to see how many games we have in the next 4 weeks. But we'll be okay. I mean, Valenzuela gave us a spark. We saw what we needed. I do feel better about Kamara. We still have Santos and Baird somewhere down that lineup that you could just throw on to finish off games. So we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think the missing piece here, and I think that's why we got Kai Kamara, was that Trill is not ready. He's just not ready. He's not seeing any meaningful minutes. Obviously, you earn your minutes on the practice pitch, and I don't know if he's doing that or if he's just too young, because he was really good in MLS Next, but there is a gap. It's like USL to MLS, very similar, I think, in that gap. Is that the best player there puts you mid pack, and we had to go out and get a Kai Kamara because you're not ready yet. I think that's where we're at there. Dado can play 9 or 10. That's the exciting part about him, and I think he gets pulled because he tries to do too much as opposed to not enough. And he does. He can sometimes gets overconfident, and then kind of like Lucho can give up the ball in bad spaces. But if you watched his goal last night, holy smokes! I'll take that. That was a brilliant shot. That wasn't just a tap in. That was with authority. But does that affect the summer window? I mean, we have a wing back. Does that mean he's going to play fresh out of wherever we got him? He's 21, right? I think that's a project that they want to keep for probably wing back in case they lose Orishano to Liga MX. What are your thoughts on how does this Denki injury not necessarily hurt our playoff chances, but how does it affect our summer window? And does that mean we have to go after some of that? Because after watching the Columbus game, and we think we have a really good defense, but do we get another player uh, in spite of the Denki injury that matches up better with Columbus on the defensive side?
I don't know. I don't think any help's coming on defense. I also think our defense can play full games. They can guard Messi and Jordi Alba. And yeah, those guys are old. Yeah, it's a midweek game, but they're still really talented players. They held their own. We've seen them. It's just getting the right pieces, getting the right game, getting the right format. I felt like we would have more help coming, but I read Doyle's Doyle put out an article of what every Eastern Conference team needs today, and I just happened to look at it before this show, and it said FC Cincinnati's out of game, and so don't be surprised if you see the team go out of the window the same way they came in the window. That's his words. So I don't know. I thought they had a little bit of money. If Doyle's right though, and he's more on the inside than I am, we have what we have. I still feel okay about it, but yeah, we need to get some guys back. We need to. Here's the crazy thing. I looked at the timeline. I think we're gonna get Obi back. I think we're gonna get Kubo back. I think we're gonna get Denki back all before we go to the playoffs. So this could be a blessing, and you just don't know.
So the other cool thing and also the weird thing is that we have another break coming up here in a couple
Yeah,
of weeks. The Leagues Cup is going to be at least what, 2 weeks? At least a week be of just League Cup play before. I don't know. I can't remember when we advanced a couple of years ago whether MLS kicked up and then it was like CONCACAF Champions Cup where we're playing a Wednesday match and a Saturday match is MLS and Wednesdays or Tuesdays. I just remember that Leagues Cup was weird. Like the first match is uh,
yeah,
I happen to know is Sunday, August 3rd, because I'm going
yeah.
to that one.
And we'll
But
see how serious FCC takes it because they
yeah,
might just if they're beat up, they might just Yeah.
This is one of those things where it works out in our favor. You got to remember, I said this like in March, is that Denke played half a season or three-quarters of a season in Europe. So he's probably on his 60th match. He's probably physically and mentally a little wore out. Nobody wants to have your guy who's playing so well uh, take a breather. Uh, but if he's uh, chomping at the bit, so to speak, with this mentally and physically ready to go out and kick butt, do kind of a reset, that would be great. I don't
Oh.
know. Yeah, I mean, we
I
need
mean,
a we need some defensive help. We definitely. I like Anunga
yeah.
for defense, but I we're
I'm
still.
okay. I'm
I,
honestly okay with
I
us
don't know
taking
what
it
the
easy.
difference is.
Yeah. I'm okay with us taking it a little easy headed into the break. Unless we make a run in the Leagues Cup and then all of a sudden it's the greatest tournament in the world, and I never said that. But the if I felt like last year we didn't go gung ho in Leagues Cup. Like,
No, we played. Was that Brandon Vasquez that we played last year? I can't remember. I can't
yeah,
remember with
we
all
got
the
beat by
different players.
Monterey in the first game, but we were playing. We were not running like we won't. I don't think Noonan's going to run Evander into the ground like in these League Cup games, unless there's like a lot of break time. But if we're playing like if you said, if we're playing MLS games, League Cup games, especially as it progresses, and we get out of that like initial period, um, he's not going to run these players in the ground for Leagues Cup, not unless he gets in the final 16 or 8 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I know we typically get out of group stage and then don't care. That's kind of where I'm at on it. I think that's where most of the fans are on it. If you watch the attendance for those games, because it's a different look. If you're going to treat Leagues Cup like a neutral site event, the fans don't we don't have our same routine. That we're not doing our things. I mean, we could do our chants and whatnot, but for the most part, it kind of takes the whole fun out of that because we're out neutral and everything is sounds neutral and we don't have our regular routines and we don't get
Yeah,
to yell for our players at the beginning of the match, that kind of stuff. It's just
weird
like,
music.
yeah, right. It's from the fans' standpoint, it's not the same. And why are we doing this then?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to better news, which is the Miami match last night. Inter Messi showed up to pretty much no fanfare. Where do you see this team? They are three uh, games in hand. I think the loss last night really puts them in a bit of a bit of a bind. They are like I think 34 points. They're 9 points behind, but they're three games in hand.
Yeah.
Could they win all three? Yeah, but I think this is an old team that has to play a lot of games in a short period of time. That's three games in hand. I don't know why they're allowing Messi to have three games in hand, um, but they're going to have to play all those games in a short period of time. I think that the loss last night is more than just 3 points for us. It's putting them further behind. They'll make the playoffs. They're not going to miss the playoffs. I don't see that. I think the other teams below them. And there's been a separation between the first four and everybody else.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
so, um, what was your thoughts on the Miami game last night?
Oh, you want to talk about a team that needs to skip Leagues Cup? I think Miami is a team. If they say they made a run in Leagues Cup, they would be the team that played the most matches in Major League Soccer because of CCL and club. They played Club World Cup games, right? So they're going to be like worn out by the playoffs, and they already have guys that are worn out. I was shocked they kept messing. My biggest takeaway in that game after we started pounding goals in, I'm shocked they left all those players, Busquets on the field, Messi on the field. Like, why? Why? Just take them off. You're losing 3-0. Take them off the field. And I do want to give one shout out, Matt, of the other big impression in that game. Holy crap, Cincinnati fans. You did not let pink take over. There was so much orange and blue in the stands. Yeah, of course, you had more messy jerseys than you would normally see in an away team, but it was very mild compared to what I was probably expecting. I've seen like Atlanta, and Messi comes to Atlanta, and the stadium looks half red, half pink. Like we held our own. We really showed up. The Bailey was loud and blue, and really, and then whoever's idea it was with the flags, genius, because it made it even more orange and blue. You wave the flag in front of the person with a pink jersey, and now you drowned them out. So props to the stadium. It definitely felt like a home game. We did not let Miami have a home away game at all, and I think that's big news.
I think that's important because I mean we beat this team without Messi 6-1 last year at home. Sadly lost in Miami, but I'm not worried about this Miami team. I think like I said, 3 goals. Evander with yet another brace. Evander is more than a real deal. I hope he's happy here because we're happy to have him. I think the fans love him. Um, I want to keep him for as long as we can keep people, because he is like Acosta, a talented player, but he's also the man who stirs the drink. Man, he's the one that gets it all done and is popping everything wide open. And Orishano plays better, and Dado and Danke, everybody does.
Yeah,
So that's really good.
shout out to Dado. You mentioned him. Not only did Dado score a very low percentage shot goal, which, getting that angle right is very difficult because he was so far, so close to the net. He is Evander's first goal. Dado makes this run that he's not going to get the ball, but he pulls a defender out, and I think it made all the difference. I think Dado just played with his heart. He played like Messi was out there, and he was, and he made some. I don't even know if he knows all the things he did. He just played his heart out, and it opened up the field.
It reminded me quite a bit of the first time that we played Messi here in Leagues Cup, wasn't it? It was Leagues Cup that we played Messi, uh, and we ended up losing that game on Santos not running it to the flag, and they got a late goal and extra time and all that. But all of the players knew that Messi was there and they played their best. And I think that's part of the Messi effect is, yes, it brings out the fans, but I think it also brings out the competitive spirit in you to go, oh, this guy thinks he's the GOAT. I'm going to play my best to show this guy that that I'm not a pushover. And I think that some of that happens. I think other teams just kind of roll over and go, oh my gosh, it's Messi, he's going to score. So they get nervous. But the top teams are like that. So Philadelphia's first by a point. We're at 45 with 11 to go. 45 is typically the cutoff point for playoffs. So I agree, we're going to make the playoffs. I mean, if we don't get another point, we're probably eighth or ninth. I don't see anybody else making a run. Nashville has found a resurgence. They're beginning to score goals. So they're like 41, 42, I think, and then Columbus is 41. So those are the top 4 teams that are kind of running away with it. There's now a bit of separation. I said Miami has 3 games in hand there, but they're at 34. I think 32 is the cutoff, and Chicago's at 29. The Shield race, it's going to be an Eastern team that wins the Shield. It's just whoever comes in first in that. It's almost getting, because with 11 games to go, but League Cup kind of puts the kibosh on that. This kind of stretch out the season even further. It's hard to get. I want to get excited for playoff run, but Leagues Cup is going to just put a dagger in that.
Take the winds out of your sails.
Yes, just like what we talked about a few weeks ago, right? We had that international break, and we didn't have any home games in June. It was just kind of like a reset, like you said. It's good. It's going to be yet another reset, but that reset is going to be a sprint. And fortunately, most of our games are going to be at home. not on the road. So like all the top teams that we have to play, Nashville, Philadelphia, those are going to be at home. Those are going to be huge implication games. Those are going to be, as you said, the playoffs really start once League Cup is over. And so we have to just wait for August to start really getting excited. Otherwise, we'd be starting to really look at seedings and all of that stuff, right? So we have a summer window that's open, but I don't know what we're going to do. We got the one person. I was hoping that we might get another U22, and I'm sure Albright is doing his best with the money that we have. Um, Depending on what Orishano we do with Orishano or not do, that's there's really not much to talk about uh, now that Leagues Cup is coming in. We have Orlando on Saturday. Um, do you see any issues going to Orlando?
They're still a decent team, but like I think we dispatched them pretty easily early in the year. So we thought that was going to be a really tough one, and then FCC just kind of did their thing and held them in check. And I don't even remember Orlando being that threatening in that match, but I wouldn't take them for granted. Even saying that, they are still in sixth place. You're right. You talked about the Eastern Conference. The top 5 teams in the East: Philly, Cincinnati, Nashville, Columbus, and Inter Miami. I couldn't tell you what 1 through 5 will be. Most seasons, there's two or 3 teams. I'm like, I don't know. This year it's 5 teams, and I have no idea. Any of these teams can beat the other at any given week. We beat Nashville. Nashville beat Columbus. Columbus beat us. Philly beat us. We beat Miami. It makes no sense. It's just a big cluster, right? So 5 good teams, and the rest of the Eastern Conference is there. We have the potential to lose to them. We have lost to some of them, but um, but they're not going to get up in the top 5, in my opinion. Orlando's not sneaking in unless it's like Miami completely collapses and they just get past them. But I think we got them. If I had to put money on the game, I'd put it on Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think a 2-1 score line would be fine. Usually, you would say, depending on when you play them, the heat and humidity of Orlando can be problematic. Uh, but if you've been outside the last 2 weeks, Orlando doesn't have much on us in terms of heat and humidity. So it's not like Colorado coming to Orlando where there's low humidity and it's a little bit cooler even if it's like 80 degrees or 85 in Denver. It's been hot, it's been humid. They've been practicing in heat and humidity, so that's not going to be a factor. I'm sure they'll have water breaks or whatever. So there's nothing that it's really just these 2 teams going together. So that's one of the things that you'll know. And quite frankly, what are they going to have? 6,000 fans in Orlando, most of them wearing Messi jerseys. So
You'll have a few Cincinnati fans that decided to go to Disney World and FC Cincinnati and make it a weekend.
yeah, it's a good time if you're trying to get your vacation in before school starts because all of that's about to come around the corner. So uh, that's going to be interesting. So, by the way, thank you for joining me today. So sadly, Mark was ill. Um, Boston is fighting his own little battle, but that's why he sounds more like me. He's got his lower register in. I thought he was just trying to mock me or mimic me because this voice is a
Try to
voice
be
on
you.
the radio.
I wake up every day saying, "How can I be like Matt?"
There you go. What would Matt do?
Yeah, I wear one of those old rubber bracelets.
Uh, yeah, so thank you for joining us. I always love your insight. So is there any final words any words of wisdom for the fan base or anything you'd like to say before we head out the door?
Yeah, I mean, never give up on your team. I think Columbus was devastating. I did not get on social media for the 48 hours after that match because I was so over it. I was like, the way it started, losing to Columbus sucks. The way it happened sucks even more. It's just a pile of suck on top of suck. And so I was so bummed, man. I couldn't even look at I couldn't even look at a text if a friend would send me a soccer text. I was like, soccer's the worst sport in the world. I want no part of it. And then we go into Miami and I'm like, soccer is the greatest sport in the world. Messi sucks. We're awesome. So you just can't get all hung up like I did. Don't be like me. Take the games as they come. The season is longer than you think. And the points, you can lose a game every now and then. It'll be okay.
I thought you were going to say the points don't matter, but they do.
They do. They do. Sorry, Drew Carey.
Yes. No, I think that's the perspective, right? We get so wound up, and some of us actually get wound up to the point to where, we get into trolling Columbus fans and saying things and doing things, and then your team doesn't back up your boasts or whatever, and then you get hurt. So don't get hurt. Enjoy it. I heard that Columbus kind of trolled us after the game with their own sha-la-la dance. Kudos to you, because quite frankly, Columbus fans are pretty boring to play with. So sometimes when you lose, you just have to tip your hat. Yeah, tip balls and bad refs and not calling yellow cards and all of that stuff. I can if I don't see Diego Rossi again, I'll be happy. Unless that means they're in the playoffs and we're not. I hope that that they get knocked out in the first round and we play with somebody else. And hopefully we don't have to play New York City, because I'm tired of seeing those idiots too.
If we play, I'd rather play here, but I don't think. I don't think either direction. I think we can play there. They can play here. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be who shows up.
Exactly. And enjoy Columbus while you have them, because they're going to be moving to Cleveland in the next few years anyway.
Did you hear they had to promise their fans, when their fans were buying season tickets this year, that they won't do another Cleveland game they said this year. They said in 2026. They wouldn't go any further than that, but they're like, in 2026 we won't do it.
Yeah, but 2027 they'll do like 6 games. Buy your Cleveland mini package for the crew. And I figure that they'll probably just change their colors to orange and brown. So
it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's all coming, folks. So enjoy that you can only go 100 miles and not have to take a 5-hour trip to Cleveland. So that's the solstice that you have to take from this. We're only 1 point off of the Shield contention. There's a lot of games to play. If we beat Philadelphia later this year and it's still a 1 point, then we're going to get up ahead. And as Boston says, anybody can beat anybody in these top fives. That's why we're watching it. So that's really all we have here. Trying to ease into Leagues Cup. We'll have Orlando. We'll have a conversation next week here on FCC Supporter Square, and we'll see you and get happier. Don't worry about Columbus.
Thank you for joining FCC Supporter Square. The hosts are Matt Warman, Boston Brazel, and Mark Suffolk. The intro song is Quick on the Holster by the Stone Bunnies, and the ending song is Awesome Sauce, also by the Stone Bunnies. Thank you for listening. Please join us again.